Strength, Soul, Sisterhood. Hi everyone, I'm Aparna Tyagarajan and this is the Nari Shakti Show. On this show, we celebrate the resilience and brilliance of women who are redefining the rules. From glass ceiling breakers to grassroots innovators, we present countless stories of inspiration that define the modern day woman. Let's get started. What happens when you take 2 decades of top tier engineering leadership and pivot it to a heart centered community building project? That's our next guest, Sneha Pai. Welcome to the show, Sneha.
Thank you so much, Aparna.
Sneha spent a massive part of her career as a senior principal engineer, navigating the complex world of telecommunications, infotainment, and smart metering. But today, she's using these building skills to create something entirely different. As the founder and chief curator of Wonder Woman Wednesday, WWW,
Yes.
she has built a media house of storytelling platform that ensures no woman's journey is left unheard, whether she's an entrepreneur, a student, or a homemaker. Through her initiatives like Her Bazaar, her newsletter, Her Patrika, and her wellness platform Bodhi Vista, Sneha is bridging the gap between technical precision and holistic growth. We are going to dive deep into her journey, from the server room to the storytelling stage, and talk about what really matters to empower a community in 2026. A very, very warm welcome.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here, Aparna.
All right. So you spent over 2 decades, 23 years as a senior principal engineer, dealing with real-time software and complex logic. How did that engineering brain help you, or should I say challenge you, into the world that you are in, right? The one that of community building, where there's a lot of emotion involved, one that has empathy.
Yeah. To answer your question, engineering brain, when you said that, I'm thinking, did I really have an engineering brain? Because back then, I graduated in 97. And back then, if you are scoring good marks, you either become an engineer or a doctor. And otherwise you take up BSc, BCom, BA based on those were the only options we had.
True.
So I don't think I had the time to think whether I had an engineering brain or not, but I got good marks and I got into engineering. And I worked in, like you mentioned, for 23 years, and I was very good at it, thankfully. Didn't have any issues. I could, my debugging skills were very good, and I really thrived at what I was doing. And never did the creative side of me show up in any of these phases. Because I think normally what happens is you get into something, then it's a continuous cycle, right?
True.
You don't even think of any external things.
True,
at
true.
all.
And when you talk of technical areas, it's just 0 or 1, right? There's no in between.
Yeah, that's right. But luckily for me, I don't know whether it was some divine intervention or something. Towards the end of my career, just before I quit, my creative side started opening up. So
Okay.
I wrote a lot of poems, and I was into baking. I started my own baking business and all that.
Wow.
So I explored my creative side towards the end, and I think after 2 decades, I said, okay, now I've used my education. I did a BE. So I had used my education for 23 years. Now I think I should start exploring my creative side. That was the thought process. And to be frank, storytelling and community building, I think since my creative side had opened up, I didn't have any challenges with that. The biggest challenge was, managing the business and the marketing part of it. So yeah, it just happened. And after that, of course, now I eat, breathe, sleep Wonder Woman Wednesday.
Yeah, yeah. I relate to it because I was also on the technical side, and here I am doing something that's diametrically opposite, right? But they say whatever you learn never goes waste. So
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
those things still do apply.
True.
But then you're unleashing other areas which you've not discovered before.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. The name of your platform, Wonder Woman Wednesday, is so iconic, right?
Yeah.
How did you actually come up with it? And the other question is, through your work, you've actually spoken to women from all walks of life,
Yes.
right? So how do you use these stories to dismantle the myth of what a perfect woman should be?
Okay. So Wonder Woman Wednesday, actually the idea came from my husband. He wanted to do something for the homemakers because he thought that, their work is never showcased anywhere. At least working women have their organization, something,
True.
some appreciation
True.
somewhere.
True.
But
And being financially independent.
yeah. Homemakers don't have anything.
True.
So we said, let's start where, we share stories of women every week, every Wednesday.
Okay.
And we believed everyone is a Wonder Woman. So we said, let's call it Wonder Woman Wednesday. The acronym is good. One story every Wednesday. That's how it started. But of course, now there is no Wednesday. It's every day we celebrate women throughout the year. Coming to your second part of, breaking the myth, right, of perfection and being a Wonder Woman. So what I have noticed is women don't realize they are Wonder Women. Of course, now you have a lot of things where you can see on social media or your environment where you're constantly encouraged and things like that. But I think even 6 to 7 years ago, I don't think there was anything which made people believe they are Wonder Women. When we started, we had a lot of challenges, in fact. Like people, when we used to approach women to share their stories, they're like, "Maine kya kiya hai?" Those kind of things. And if you take any storytelling platform, even like we started in 2022. So if you see there were some storytelling platforms that had just started. And if you see the thought process behind it was like you have to either be a celebrity at that point of time or you have a struggling story. These were the only two things that were normally covered by platforms.
True.
And we wanted to break that myth because if you see a journey of any person and women in general, right? A homemaker also in let's say their 50 years, they would have gone through so many challenges, done
True.
it themselves, figured it out themselves, and they would have become a Wonder Woman at some point in their life. Only thing is there's no realization. People just go about it thinking this is what I'm supposed to do. So that is what we wanted to break actually rather than anything, and say that you just start journaling your journey and you yourself will figure out how far you've come.
True.
And that is the seed that we wanted to put in women's mind.
So let's delve a little deeper into this.
Yeah.
A lot of us women tend to compare ourselves,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
And for all the homemakers, they feel like, they are at a disadvantage because one, they're not financially independent. And second, they feel like it's some sort of being less capable than their working woman counterpart.
Correct.
So what was the most inspiring story that has come across so far where you said, yes, you are a homemaker, but you have a story of your own, you have a life of your own, and there's so much that you've done. You're not any less than, your working woman counterpart.
Like I mentioned, like when you start off a conversation with them, they say, I haven't done anything. Then I tell them, no, just write it down and you see what have you done. So there are a lot of homemakers, even though they call themselves homemakers, they are teaching art and craft to children because they have that.
I'm glad we are saying homemaker now. It used to be housewife.
Yeah. So, they don't think that they are doing something there, though you may have seen a lot of homemakers, right, doing achar, giving it to their friends and things like that. And they take it with a pinch of salt saying, it's okay, like it's something that I've been doing. No, actually, we have had a lot of homemaker stories, but the interesting twist is that each one of them was not just a pure homemaker. Like I have a story where the homemaker was giving tuitions.
Okay.
Like full-fledged homemaker.
But when she's not stepping out of the home,
she calls herself a homemaker. And if you see the financial independence part of it, they don't think that it's like a contribution to the household or things like that, which make them classify themselves as homemakers, though, they are doing a lot more than that.
True.
So the most interesting story, Aparna, is I'll take something close to my home, my mom's example. She's done so much for all of us. She's 74 years old now, and she's done so much for all of us, but never has asked anything or, never has felt that she's doing so much for each one of us. And when we asked her to share her story, like we said, we are doing this, and why don't you? She's like, what do I write? I don't have anything to write because I'm just managing home. I'm managing you guys. I'm managing my grandchildren. But I think that is the beauty of it, right? Like homemakers do much more than what we think they are doing. And of course, working women have their own challenges, but homemakers have that nurturing thing which actually helps a family to be like it allows the members of the family to be who they are. And they underestimate that to a large extent. And the way homemakers manage finances, even my mom has been doing it for years, right? It's a skill which people say that, women are not financially capable to do certain things. But I think most of the homemakers break that myth, but they do not know. I think that is where, it is important for us to say that, each story is worth it, each story is important, each journey has a lot of things which is like a learning.
True. And I don't think homemakers are any less capable than
Yeah.
their working woman counterpart. Many times it's the circumstances
Correct.
that actually make them stay at home. And, you know, homemakers actually end up doing a lot more. And, because their work is not recognized,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So they have to be a lot of self-inspiration that actually comes in.
Yeah.
And, from cooking to cleaning to those monotonous jobs day in and day out, it takes a lot,
Yeah, it does.
right? And it's the perception is also that a homemaker is one who's only taking care of home,
Yeah.
right? But a working woman who's supposedly taking care of home and work carries a lot of guilt, right?
Yes,
Because
of course.
both get the same 24 hours, and then there's only so much she's able to do at home. So she ends up carrying a lot of guilt too, which
Yeah.
a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah, I think like the grass is greener on the other side. I think that works very well here because homemakers want to be financially independent, and women who are working see the other side and say, sometimes. And that's one thing, you should allow the women who they want to be rather than, think about being financially independent. Of course, it is very important. But then if you are a nurturer, then you can do something along those lines than thinking, like I'm a businesswoman, let me get into entrepreneurship. You can do a lot being a nurturer itself, right? So I think that is one thing we need to tell women that, be who you want to be.
True. And then, given social media, how easy it is to become a micro entrepreneur on social
Yeah.
media, the barrier to entry is very, very less. So, anybody, any homemaker who has an idea and wants to take a plunge, it's very easy for her, which is
Yeah.
why we see this boom of so many micro entrepreneurs, right?
True, very true, very true.
So, they do definitely have it in them. It's just that they've not explored that side of them.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sneha, you mentioned about one homemaker story. I'm sure you have heard countless stories of, other women. So what is one story that really stands out?
One story which I still remember is about a mother who lost her daughter to suicide. And she is now running a NGO where she ensures that, the students or the children who are going through that phases are advised through sessions and other things to tell them that there are other options too. And she is doing it so bravely. Like, she was totally broken when that happened. And after that, now I can see.
Was it because she didn't secure the marks that she was hoping, or was it something else?
I think the reason is not known. Sometimes I don't think the reason behind the story is known. But yeah, whatever it was, her purpose of life changed after that incident, and she wanted to ensure that none of the children go through similar cycles in their life, and she has made it her purpose. And to be very frank, Aparna, that story, even now, it gives me goosebumps, of course, and it held me down for so long, emotionally, and it just shook a lot of things for me, because till then we were publishing stories of women doing something, homemakers. Of course, challenges are there, but after this story, it took me a while to get back on, being on the other side and just curating stories, because sometimes you get so much involved in these stories, right? And that story taught me that, somewhere as a curator, I need to have something as a boundary so I don't get emotionally attached to a story. But yeah, that story, I can still remember that story, and how much the first draft she sent of a story, I think I don't know how many hours I have cried after that. That was very touching.
Yeah, for you to be able to feel that way, imagine what that mom went through
Yeah.
firsthand, and being totally devastated, and then carrying that level of guilt,
Yeah.
right? Because we always tend to hold ourselves accountable for
Responsible. Yeah.
people around us, right? For whatever happens to people around us. But being able to transform that
Yeah.
into something meaningful, so she's able to stop that for others,
Yeah.
right? So that was the big leap of
Yeah.
faith. Okay, so in your 2 decades in tech, you saw the gaps in how women are supported in high pressure corporate environments, right? Sometimes you're expected to be at par with other men. And then how much of the WWW and your wellness initiative,
Bodhi Vista.
Bodhi Vista, was born out of the desire to close that gap?
So when I was working, there were a couple of things that I noticed. One is very few women in the leadership roles, of course. Whatever said and done, I think people management, there were still few women, noticeable women. But I was in the technical field. I mean, I didn't want to get into people management. And I think for a long time, I was the only one who was like, I was the architect of a project. And I was the only female in that whole group of men being architects. So that is one thing that I noticed. And the second thing I noticed is a lot of women take sabbaticals.
Yes.
And either for childbirth. Childbirth is one reason, which is, where the ratio of women taking sabbaticals is very high. The second is when when the children are in, the 10th or the 12th or something, a lot of women take sabbatical. And what I noticed is when they want to come back, they don't find it easy.
True.
Because they've taken maybe a longer gap.
True.
They're out of what is happening.
Especially in the technical domain,
Yeah,
right?
in the technical domain. And even their confidence also goes down so much, because they're like, I'm not sure what is it that is happening now. How do I make a comeback and things like that. So Bodhi Vista was born out of that feeling.
Okay.
Because we wanted women to, at least be confident, like soft skills and things like that, which are a part of Bodhi Vista, apart from wellness.
Okay.
So women can get trained and be ready for the second innings, what a lot of people call it as second innings, right? So that women are ready for that and don't find it awkward to get back to the workspace. Second is, there are a lot of women who have, like me, like you, and throughout Wonder Woman Wednesday, I don't know, I've seen around hundreds of stories where it's a transition story, where women have said, okay, I'm done with my job. Maybe they find out what their passion is, what they are, comfortable with, and they don't want to do full time. So they want to start on an entrepreneurship journey. And when you start on an entrepreneurship journey, the basic thing is, okay, I cook well. Maybe I can start this. I bake well, or I am a good artist. I can start this. That's the thought with which somebody gets into entrepreneurship. But as you go along, you notice that's not the only thing that you need. You need to understand marketing to some extent.
True.
You need to understand how to deal with people, how to network. It's a whole complex, another world, especially if you're in a corporate world.
True.
It's not very easy to navigate.
Just your core skills won't take you there.
Won't take you there. So Wonder Woman Wednesday is like a ecosystem that we have built, so that, let's say you're an entrepreneur or you're a homemaker who's on the transition of becoming an entrepreneur. Then if you want to form a company, you have a woman who is a part of the community who will help you with that. Let's say you want to market something, then you have a digital marketing person in the community who can help you with.
Lovely.
So anything that you need is within the community itself, which is why this is a slight diversion from your question, but we also have students as a part of Wonder Woman Ministry. The idea is if you just have entrepreneurs and you're building something on your own, then it's like, I buy from you, you buy from me. And yeah, some services get exchanged.
True.
But let's say you have professionals, you have students, everyone has a part of it. If an entrepreneur has a internship, you have the students picking it up. Or, if there's something which a professional wants as a part of skill training, you have that in the community, which is why our community is also a mix of all the women in different fields, from homemaker, if you want to start off something. So the idea is that, this ecosystem feeds each one. Like even the women are able to generate business because it's a mixed community. So professionals, let's say, I as a professional don't have time to make pickles, though I love pickles. I'll pick it up from an entrepreneur who's already making pickles. So it's that kind of ecosystem that we have built so that we have the support of each other, and that works very well. Like if you have women from different fields coming together, I think it works very well because we feed each other, encourage each other, help each other, and the bonding is amazing. So yeah, that's the idea when we started.
Beautiful ecosystem. And then there are very many complementary synergies, and I
Yeah.
like that you're building a holistic platform.
Correct, yeah.
Beautiful. So with Her Bazaar and Her Patrika, you focus heavily on women-led brands. For a lot of us women, putting us out there is the hardest part,
Yes.
right? So what have you actually done, or what have you learned that helps women come out of that imposter syndrome and helps put their best foot forward?
Like you rightly said, I think women have some aversion on putting themselves out there.
Unlike our male counterparts.
Yes, yes, absolutely. And
My husband will always joke about it. He'll be like, even if you're 6 on 10, you will act like you're a 4 on 10. And he'll be like, he's a 4 on 10, but he'll act like a 9 on 10.
And I've seen this, firsthand when I was working in my last job. So we have this appraisal system, right? And you're supposed to rate on maybe 5 or 10. I think it was on 5. I was doing so well, but I said, no, I'm 3. And I see people
we critique ourselves, yes.
who have rated themselves 5, and I'm like, oh, is that how you're supposed to rate yourself? I think that feeling where where women think that I am the best. I think that feeling is something that we want women to cultivate, because it's only when you say that I am the best and I'm doing the best, it's only then that you feel comfortable getting visible.
True.
So that is the reason we started having this visibility. We have visibility features, plus we have static, like you said, the Her Bazaar, where you can list your brand and it gets visible. To tackle this imposter syndrome that many women have. And it's just that if I've spoken to doctors, I've spoken to women in manufacturing sectors, and they're doing so amazingly well. But then you tell them, we would like to feature you. They're like, actually, I haven't done anything much. Maybe give me a couple of years, I'll come back to you. And then I'm like, it's not that all. See, when we talk about men and women, one thing I think we have to make it very clear, it's the ratios that we talk about. It's not that, when we say that it's men in general, the ratio of men taking that opportunity versus women taking that opportunity, you see there's a huge difference. Women always think that whatever success they have achieved and whatever they have achieved until now is something that they had to do. It's not like, something that has to be celebrated or something like that. So I think that was very important to break. And even now, I still, though there's a lot of improvement in the way women showcase themselves comparatively to what we were a few years ago, I think we still have to push women to say, get featured, become visible. If you're building a brand especially, then it is, jo dikta hai wo bikta hai is a true thing in a lot of places, right? Especially when you're building a brand. So we have to push them, and that's what we are trying to do through additional visibility things. And we say, if you're not comfortable speaking, which is why we have a format where they don't even have to speak to their camera. So we tell them, you send your photographs, you send a profile, we'll create a story, and we'll create a video, like, using your photos, your brand photos, and putting a text on top, so that you don't have to put yourself out there, but you're still visible. And then once they do that, then they say, okay, I think, we can do
They get more confident.
Yeah, they'll get the confidence. And a lot of people actually, after their feature, have messaged me saying that, one, that they were very surprised by the reaction of the people around them after they saw the story, and they didn't think that, they would be so proud themselves. And that seeing their story out there and being liked, commented by their own friends and family made them believe that, yeah, so I am something.
So Sneha, for our audience, who are not familiar with Har Bazaar and Har Patrika, what exactly are they, and how does one get featured?
Yeah, so Har Bazaar is a way of putting your brand out there on Wonder Woman Wednesday.
Okay.
So Wonder Woman Wednesday has a community. Plus we have a good presence on social media, and we are still building it. So, and we are there on major platforms. So basically Instagram, YouTube channel, then Facebook, LinkedIn presence, and our website.
Okay.
Which is again with SEO and things like that.
Okay.
So let's say you are still starting off, or you have a brand presence, but it is not reaching the right audience.
Okay.
Then you get listed on Har Bazaar, which is on our website, wonderwomanwednesday.com. You go and register yourself there. We ask you to share a few photographs, and your brand gets listed on the website. So what happens is, we feature women every week. We feature their stories on our website. So people who are visiting that will go and see who are the women brands that are listed. When we talk to corporates, we say that, these are the brands who are with us. And if you, let's say you want to go do some corporate gifting and want to consider women products, we have this. Let's say you have sessions for your women for upskilling or something. We have a set of women who are a part of Har Bazaar, and they get extra brand visibility that way through the website. And we also put their brands across on all other social media platforms as well. Create a LinkedIn post so that even the audience of LinkedIn know that there is somebody out there who is doing this. So that is the focus of Har Bazaar.
Okay. So you're basically improving the discoverability and also making use of that holistic ecosystem that you built. Okay.
Cross-platform distribution actually helps a lot of women, because many of them are stuck to one platform. Like some of them are stuck to Instagram because they think their target audience is there. But you're losing out on the entire LinkedIn community, which may, where you may have your target audience. So we try to cover that gap doing through Har Bazaar. Har Patrika is it used to be our monthly magazine, the newsletter. From this month, we are doing a bi-weekly.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of demand for the themes that we are putting in.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. And it's a theme-based newsletter. So basically, we have had visibility edition, then growth edition, hobby edition. So, we try and cover things that women may, they're doing some hobbies, let's say. They don't know that you can convert this into something which will make you financially independent. So we try and cover that aspect of it. Tomorrow's release is about, this month's release is about creative edition.
Okay.
So basically creativity and how can you leverage that. So those are the kind of things that we cover in Har Patrika, and you can also get featured there. So that goes to our subscribers, and we have a LinkedIn newsletter, plus it goes on our website as a newsletter as well. So your brand will reach so many people at one point of time, and the visibility is there.
Beautiful. Very nice. Okay. As someone who understands the back end of the digital world, right? And how do you actually balance the digital nature of a WhatsApp community with the human nature that is needed for mental health and soft skills?
So basically, if you see, digital world as such is not bad. It's the overconsumption that is bad.
True.
And women, I think now there's a lot of things that women are doing, trying to manage on their own. And what actually triggers me, or no, not so triggers me. What is the one thing I noticed is that, women are seeing their WhatsApp at 12:30 a.m. because maybe, they would have finished their work and then checking, okay, what have I missed? Morning, I see 5 o'clock, they're up again checking their WhatsApp and things like that, because they feel that, we have to be active on digital media to maybe get business or even interact, network, and things like that. And they don't want to lose out on that. And because of that, it is impacting a lot of women, right? Because they're constantly either trying to research on Instagram, trying to figure out what can I post for my product, or even on WhatsApp, trying to figure out what have I missed in the group and things like that.
Well, it's so dynamic, right?
Yeah.
And algorithms keep changing, so you have to be constantly on top of the game.
It's not easy. And a lot of women have this mindset that, technology is not for them. And they try and spend time on trying to understand these things and all that. And that is the reason we introduced offline meetups. So
Okay.
previously, Wonder Woman Wednesday was completely digital. And we had a once a month online meetup and all that. And we had a lot of requests from women themselves in the community saying, let us have an offline meeting, and we see that the minute you have an offline meeting, which now we have made it as a once a month meetup, the dynamics within the group also change, because we are all social beings. When we interact with each other, there are a lot of things that come out, and maximum collaborations happen when you're meeting physically rather than being on WhatsApp
True.
and scrolling.
True.
So we want our women to do more of this, and that is why now currently we have 4 chapters of Wonder Woman Wednesday: Bangalore, Mumbai, Hyderabad, and Gujarat.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So Bangalore, since I am here, we do monthly meetups, and we have also identified 2 women who are taking up the South Zone and North Zone of Wonder Woman Wednesday to have regular meetups there. And Mumbai and Hyderabad have also started having physical meetups with potluck lunch.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Very
So
nice.
basically, we also are seeing that women want to get off the digital and then spend time. So we are also slowly moving towards having a lot of these meetups and sessions as well.
Lovely, lovely community building
Yeah.
initiative. Okay. So, what's your long-term vision of how technology should serve?
Like I said,
You
I
know,
think,
you mentioned about technology draining women, right?
yeah.
So, what's your long-term vision?
No, my long-term vision is technology has to be used, but for everything to work well, I think the most important thing is balance. You have to understand where to stop getting deeper into technology that you're forgetting yourself. I think it is very important, especially when you're in business or you're starting off on an entrepreneurship, to understand the few basics of technology, and it has to be a part of everyone's life. But where you cut off is the thing that is going to make you or break you, kind of thing. Like, too much of it is going to drain your energy. And if you don't get into it, it's going to not work well for you. So I think that balance is what each one of us have to create. And I think, I mean, if you ask my vision, I think that is where we would want all of the women also to understand that balance and, do things that way.
True. We are in a digital first era,
Yeah.
right? So we are consuming content. Most of the content that we consume is digital. Most of the content that we process is also through a digital
Yes.
medium. But there is a fine line that you have to
Yeah,
draw,
yeah.
right? Yeah. Okay. So finally, Sneha, we come to our signature question. What is Nari, having worked with so many women, countless women across so many locations, what is the common thing? What is Nari Shakti?
Maybe I'll answer it a bit differently. Nari Shakti to me is, allowing women to be who they want to be. Because we have these labels going around. Women are multitaskers, resilient, strong, strength. And somewhere I think we all get influenced by it and try to be that just to show the Nari Shakti. So for me, the ideal Nari Shakti would be to allow a woman to be who they are, the way they want to be, and not get influenced by the titles, the labels that people want to, put on a Nari. And second thing, Nari Shakti, I think if you ask me like, when do you think, you feel that there is Nari Shakti or, women are progressing or things like that? I think the day we don't have to use the terms like women empowerment, Nari Shakti,
True.
and the other things that even we are doing, where we have a separate community for women. I think that is the day where actually Nari Shakti will be, I don't know what to say, but it'll be the day where,
We don't have to take that extra effort, right?
yeah.
We're already there at par.
Yeah. I think when all these things go away, that's when we have truly achieved Nari Shakti.
And very well said. I think this is something that I personally hear again and again. Nari Shakti is not that ideal that is far off. It is who we want to be, and let the thrive come out irrespective of what our society tells us, what people think otherwise. If we want to do something, we should just go out there, make it happen, not wait for validation.
Correct, yeah. I think that's another point that you've actually brought in. Validation. I think that is something that we should stop doing, especially external validation.
All right. So, Sneha, it was absolutely wonderful having. Every podcast that happens, it has me, suffused with so much energy and inspiration. Energy is not always the diet that we consume. It's all these thoughts also that we consume as diet. So that really fuels us. So if you thought that this was something that has sparked something in you, carry that energy forward, share it with someone who needs to hear it. My biggest takeaway from today's show was be yourself. Just be yourself. Don't wait for validation. Don't wait for others to carve out that path for you. Do it yourself. And let us know what your takeaway was in the comments. Like and subscribe so you can hear more of these stories going forward. We'll be back with another Nari and her story next week. Until then, stay strong, be bold, be unstoppable.